It's been said that smoking a cigar is the gentleman's vice. But just like many other hobbies, the world of cigars comes with its own seemingly intimidating set of rules and customs. And for a first-time smoker walking into a cigar lounge, or even somebody that has some experience with cigars, there are some things that you ought to know before you enter the world of cigars. Now, the aim of this video is to make this hobby seem less intimidating and more approachable, because I think that one of the big misconceptions about cigars is that it's a hobby for rich, old men who are snobbish, and if you don't do everything properly or smoke the most expensive cigars, people will look down on you. That couldn't be further from the truth, but nevertheless, you do want to check out these 9 rules of cigar etiquette before your next smoke. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. The biggest mistake that any first-time smoker could make walking into a cigar lounge is to be too scared or too intimidated to ask for advice. Now, I've had the pleasure of sharing many people's first ever cigar with them, and I can tell you, it's a real joy to walk somebody into the humidor and help them find the right cigar for them. And every good retail store or cigar lounge will have a tobacconist working there who is incredibly passionate about those sticks. And they love helping newbie smokers or even experienced smokers find something that they will enjoy. So whenever you go into a retail lounge or you're about to buy your first cigar at a store, do not be afraid to ask questions. Personally, I must have smoked hundreds of cigars at this point, but I will still frequently ask for recommendations because I enjoy expanding my horizons, testing out different flavors, different formats, different brands. I think that's one of the most exciting things about the cigar world is the discovery, and I'm very happy to help a more experienced expert help me on that journey. Whenever you talk about cigars with somebody that isn't a cigar smoker, it's very common that they might make some kind of comparison to cigarettes. But comparing a cigar to a cigarette is kind of like comparing vintage champagne to a high noon. It's really not the same kind of person that smokes cigars and cigarettes, and it's a very, very different product. And for that reason, you need to treat a cigar very differently to how you would treat a cigarette. For example, many rookie cigar smokers will tap their cigar on the ashtray to ash it just like you would a cigarette. But this is actually a big mistake. Not because it's going to offend anybody, but because it will cause your cigar to actually go out. The ash is what helps it keep burning. Now obviously, you don't want so much ash on your cigar that it falls on your lap, but generally you can sit with at least 1 inch of ash on that stogie before letting it naturally rest on the ashtray and fall off. Another thing that you don't want to do is you never want to inhale the cigar like a cigarette. In the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you do this, you will cough and you will look like an amateur. As I mentioned, the person who smokes cigars and the person who smokes cigarettes are often very different. And for that reason, it's generally considered poor etiquette or even banned to smoke a cigarette or a vape at a cigar lounge. Now, I've been to some cigar bars or smoking bars in New York, and in Vegas they have these where people will smoke their cigar, people will smoke their cigarettes. They might even sell cigarettes at the bar. In that case, it's totally okay. But if you've been invited to a proper cigar lounge, a members club, you absolutely do not want to smoke a cigarette or a vape, really, at these kind of places. Why? Well, many cigar smokers actually do not enjoy the fragrance or the health effects of cigarette smoke. And cigarette smoke has a nasty way of lingering and affecting the fragrance in the air and therefore the person's enjoyment of their cigar. So if you want to smoke cigarettes, there's a time and a place for that, but definitely make sure that your cigar lounge is only for cigar smoking. The next point isn't so much about etiquette, but more about how to enjoy the cigar properly. and that is to smoke it slowly. Only start a cigar if you're sure that you have enough time to sufficiently enjoy it, be present in that moment for that 45 minutes, for that 1 hour, and truly appreciate not only the flavors of the cigar, all of the work that has gone into this beautiful handmade product, but also to give yourself that mental time to unwind, to reflect, or if you're smoking in company, to enjoy the conversation. I think that really the reason why so many men enjoy cigars, it's not necessarily about the tobacco, it's certainly not about the nicotine, it's about that ritual, the slowing down, the conversation, the reflection. I can certainly say that that is a huge thing that I get from my hobby of smoking cigars, and if you're about to explore this hobby, you definitely want to go into it with that intention also. When lighting a cigar, you really have two basic choices. You can use a match, which is great when you are indoors, but if you are outdoors, you will probably want to use a lighter. And of course, you can use a lighter indoors if you prefer also, but make sure it's the correct type of lighter. Although those Zippo lighters look cool, the flavor of the gasoline that they use can actually affect the flavor of the cigar in a negative way. So you instead want to use a designated cigar lighter, whether that is a soft flame or whether that is a torch flame. Cigar lighters run on premium butane gas. So this is a clean burning fuel that won't affect the flavor of your cigar. And when you are refilling your lighter, perhaps it's an ST DuPont, which is really the gold standard of cigar lighters, make sure to only use that butane fuel. You don't want to add any propane or Zippo lighter fuel. That will not only affect the flavor of your cigars when you're lighting it next time, but it can also damage the lighter. Now, another word on lighting your cigar. Sometimes you will see people put the cigar straight in their mouth after cutting it and immediately start absolutely scorching the foot of the cigar with a strong flame. Now, you can light your cigar however you like, it's your cigar to enjoy, but you might find it more enjoyable if instead you gently toast the foot of the cigar with perhaps a softer flame or just gently introducing the flame to the cigar. That way you won't burn the bottom of the cigar, which could cause it to not light up evenly, not light properly, and you'll actually be burning away some of the flavors and affecting that first puff of the cigar, that first real taste of the cigar, which many aficionados would agree is perhaps the most important, the most sacred. So you're going to be smoking this cigar for maybe an hour or so. Take your time, take just 2 minutes to light it properly. Now, if you are at a cigar lounge and you don't have your own lighter or your own cutter, that's not a problem. But if you see a single cutter or a single lighter lying around on a table, always be sure to ask permission before using somebody else's lighter or somebody else's cutter. You may see at some cigar lounges they have these big tabletop cutters with different holes in them and then a lever that you pull to cut your cigar. That's the house cutter. You can use that without permission. But if you spot somebody's shiny ST DuPont lighter on the table or perhaps on the bar top, always ask permission. These items can not only be incredibly expensive, they can also be very sentimental. And if you're not sure, you can always ask the tobacconist or the barman if they have a lighter, which will be more for communal purposes. That said, if you ever see a fellow cigar smoker in need of a lighter or in need of a cutter, it's the gentlemanly thing to do to offer them to him. And personally, I have struck up many conversations at cigar lounges, either because I have offered or I've been offered a match, a light, an ashtray. Whenever you are going to a cigar lounge, always check to see if there is a dress code. Many cigar lounges today are surprisingly relaxed and you can go in there in a t-shirt and shorts if you may wish to. However, some lounges, such as for example Big's Mansion, which is a private cigar lounge in Chicago where we've held some of our events before, they have a dress code. And when you go into that room, you can certainly see why. It's a beautiful, historic building. They put a lot of effort into maintaining the decor, the ambiance of that place. Very important that you match that with your mode of dress. There are many lounges that cater more to blue-collar workers and to people that don't care for a sense of occasion or formality. That's totally acceptable as well, but just be sure to check. And I can also say that for many of the cigar bars, the smoking bars in Manhattan, again, they have a more relaxed dress code. You can go in there without wearing a suit and tie, but you might feel more at home, more comfortable if you at least adopt a business casual way of dressing. And after all, you're smoking a cigar, you're enjoying one of the finest things in life. Why not put in a little bit of effort with your appearance? And finally, this one is really important, and this is something that probably puts some people off smoking cigars altogether. Cigar smoking is a hobby. It's not a sport. It's not a competition to smoke the most expensive cigar, to smoke the rarest cigar, to smoke a Cuban cigar. It's also not a competition to smoke the most cigars or the biggest cigar. Everybody is on their own journey and everybody enjoys different things. There are incredible cigars available from the New World, that means non-Cuban tobacco, priced between $10 and $20. Yes, cigars like Cuban Cohibas, Cuban Macanudos, Davidoffs, they are incredible to smoke, but there are also so many incredible brands like My Father, Arturo Fuente, Romeo and Julieta that produce fantastic cigars. And what's the best cigar, what's the most enjoyable cigar is entirely subjective. So when you're at a cigar lounge, it's very common that people might ask what you're smoking. They shouldn't be asking that as a way of judging or showing off what they are smoking. It's simply a matter of curiosity. So never be afraid to share what you are smoking and what you enjoy about it, or to ask somebody what they are smoking and if they would recommend it. Gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed today's video on cigar etiquette. It's been a little while since I did a cigar video, so let me know in the comments if you would like to see another one of those soon. If you've been looking at some of the footage from this video and thinking, I would like to go and do that. I would like to be in those rooms with guys wearing nice suits, having good conversation, having a cigar, having a whiskey. That's all happening inside our members club, and we've got some really exciting events coming up. So if you would feel at home there, I will put the link at the top of this video to become a member. And if you've noticed the tie that I'm wearing in this video, this is in fact our very own Gentleman's Collective tie made of Italian silk. This is a design that I created myself that I feel like represents our mission to create a generation of gentlemen, and simply just a tie that looks great with both casual and formal outfits. So if you would like to get your hands on one of these, I'll put the link in the description. I would love to have the privilege of sending that one out to you, and I'll see you in the next video.